Welcome to the Lines program. This is an overview video showing you how to use all the buttons that you need to use in order to get the program to work. We're on level 4. We're being asked to graph y is equal to negative 11 thirds x minus 8. The first button I'm going to show you is this translation button up here. It allows you to just grab the screen and translate the graph around. If you hold down the shift, if you're on a computer, just use your mouse and click down and drag it. If you're on an iPad, you can just grab it with your hand, or you can use a pen like I'm using. You could use the arrow keys. One click of the arrow moves you 1 square. If you click the shift, one click of the arrow moves you 10 squares. Double clicking on the translation tool will center the origin on the screen. The next tool is the zooming in tool. To zoom in, we can keep clicking on the screen and it'll zoom in a certain amount. You can use the arrow keys. If you click the shift and use the arrow keys, it zooms in a little bit faster. You can click on the center, or if you pull away from the origin, it zooms in. If you bring it towards the origin, it zooms out. You can zoom all the way out, zoom all the way in. If you double click on it, it will bring it to a normal zoom. The zooming out tool, the opposite of the zooming in tool. The point tool, if I click, it will plot a point. If you click again, it'll plot the B point. The eraser tool, if you erase and you're on the points tool, it will erase the points. If you have 2 points, you erase once, it erases 1. If you erase twice, it erases 2. If I'm trying to graph this, y is equal to negative 11 over 3x minus 8, with the points tool on, my B value, which is negative 8, which is right there, and my slope is negative 11 thirds. So I'm going to translate the screen for that. Negative 11 thirds, that's my slope, that's my delta y over delta x. So negative 11 is my delta y, 3 is my delta x. So if I plot my b on top of my a, I'm going to delta x at first. 1, 2, 3, move over 3 in the positive x direction. Then my delta y is negative 11, that means down 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11. Or you could just go right to the point, right? So if you know you're at negative 8 and you're going down 11, it's going to bring you to negative 19. I'm going to press my enter key over here. We have a pencil tool. You can draw. You can undo, you can redo. You double click on the eraser, erases everything. If you wanted to draw a straight line, just hold that line for a second and it becomes straight. If you want to draw a circle, just finish the circle close to where you started. It's a circle that you can move around. If you double click on the eraser, it will erase everything. If you single click on the eraser, it becomes an eraser and you can just erase whatever part of the drawing that you want to erase. If I was on level 9, I want to find the equation of this blue line. I'm going to use my drawing tool. I'm going to draw a line for my delta y. This is my delta x. The delta y is we're going down 3, so that's negative 3. My delta x, we're going across 2, that's plus 2. The a is delta y divided by delta x, negative 3 divided by 2. My equation is y is equal to ax plus b. Here's my b. The b is 3. We have y is equal to negative 3 over 2x plus 3. Let's put that in. Y is equal to negative 3 over 2x plus 3. If you make a mistake, you can just press delete, plus 3, and enter. That's the lines. Let's go and look at the half planes, at the inequalities. All of these are videos showing you how to do all the different levels. You're looking at this video, the how to use video. Back to levels and results. Level 14. They're asking us to graph this. Now we have a whole bunch of other buttons. We have the solid line. If I plotted 2 points, we have a solid line. Well, the dotted line, we can shade above or we can shade below. If you're doing a vertical line, if I was on level 13, we're doing vertical lines, I can shade to the right or I can shade to the left. You can do dotted or solid lines. If we're doing something like this, x is less than negative 4, I'm going to go to the negative 4 on the x-axis. I'm going to put a b anywhere on x is equal to negative 4, just not at the same point. The y was equal to 6 in that case. And x is less than, so I'm looking at a dotted line and we're looking at the values of x that are less than negative 4. It's like negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, so we're shading to the left. And then we can press enter. Level 14. We're being asked to graph y is greater than negative 11 over 12x plus 2. So my b value is 2. My slope is negative 11 over 12. So I'm going to park the b right up on top of the a, and I'm going to delta x it. My delta y is negative 11. My delta x is positive 12. So I'm going to move over 12 steps in the x direction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. You can do it like that, or you can just click and drag the b value. you just click and drag it like that if you like. Then we're going down 11. Down 11 from 2 brings me to negative 9. So I can just drag it down. Or I could count. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is y is greater than, so we're talking about dotted. And greater than means we're shading above. Press enter. The last one is the command button if I wanted to move over one step. But let's say I wanted to move over less than one step. Let's say I wanted to move over a tenth. If I hit the command button and then hit the arrow, it's moving over a tenth of whatever the square happens to be. If we zoom in, each square now is a tenth. So if I just move over 1, each square is 1/10. So I'm moving over 1/10. But if I hit the command button, I'll be moving over a tenth of a tenth or 100th. Like that. If we're working on a level like level 22, the complex bees, I'm gonna find my x and y intercept. Start with my y intercept, set x equal to 0. 0 and 45 divided by 6 is 7. That's 7 3/6, which is a half, 0.5. For the x-intercept, I'm going to set the y equal to 0, and then we're going to solve for the x. 3x is equal to 45. 45 divided by 3 is 15. We have 0, 7.5. So 7.5, then 15, which is right there. And we're greater than or equal to 45, so we have a solid line. Greater than, we're shading above. Let's try one more. I'm going to find my y-intercept first. I'm going to set x equal to 0. And then, when x is equal to 0, we have 8y is greater than negative 2. Divide both sides by 8. We have y is equal to negative 2/8, which reduces to negative 1/4, which is negative 0.25. Negative 0.25. To find the x-intercept, I'm going to set the y equal to 0, and we get negative 2 divided by negative 7, which is 2/7. Let's figure out what 2/7 is as a decimal. 2 divided by 7 is 0.285. So if we're rounding it to the nearest hundredth, it's 0.29. 0.29. 0. Let's plot those. Negative 0.25. Let's zoom right in. I'm going to go down. If I have the command key off and I hit the arrow key, it's moving me over 1 square, which is a tenth. So this is 0.1, 0.2. If I hit the command key and I move down, it's going to move me over a tenth of that tenth, or 100. This is negative 0.21, 0.22, 3, 4, 5. This is negative 0.25. Then we have 0.290. I'm just going to translate over a little bit so we can see our negative 0.2 is going to be right there. I need to get to negative 0.29, so I can move over 1 more. Turn off the command, move over 1. So that's negative 0.3. We'll move back a tenth, command, and back a tenth. That's 0.290. We are talking about greater than, so it's a dotted line, and we're shading above. So that's what all these buttons do, and I'm going to press enter. We have a sound button here. On the computer, we have a slider for the volume, so you can adjust the volume. On the iPad, you're either turning the volume on or off. What this is useful for is if you're listening to music while you're doing your work, you can turn off the sound on the computer. You can turn down the volume of the program without changing the volume of the device that you're listening to. The one beside the volume is the keyboard. If we are entering values, you can turn the keyboard on and off. Level 9, where you have to enter some text, I could click in here, turn the keyboard on, and type. Or you could turn the keyboard off and use the keyboard that's on the screen. You have a whole bunch of help videos over here. There's the how to use, which you're using right now. You have videos that show you how to do everything on every level. That's it for the Line program. Have a good day.